Yep, indeed.
I mean, I'll be fair. It's early. It's early. But we are live. So good morning. Oh, what ugh. That's what we do on Wednesdays. But we're not really so much talking about CNN's WTF moment. Um, I mean,
Though, though
go
they're
ahead.
part of it. Just I heard audio of Brian Stelter, and he's giddy over the book. Like I swear, I don't think the man could have been more excited if you'd given him a box of penis-shaped donuts.
And that would have him pretty excited. That's fair.
But
Um,
yeah, we're talking about the book.
yeah, I mean, says, oh, I don't want to hear. Oh, you sons of bitches. CNN, WTF, fix your website. Your shit's broken. Okay, so I was trying to read the headline. There it is. Mary Trump's. No, I don't want your ad. See the headline, you shitburger. Mary Trump's scathing book claims Trump paid someone to take his SATs. Um, um, so,
And I mean, do we even believe this?
I
Like,
mean,
and what were his SAT scores? I guess we could have looked that up. Good morning, Danny. But I mean, I guess we could have looked that up. But if we paid somebody to take his SAT scores and he got like an 1150, like if I'm paying somebody to to take my SATs for me, you better be knocking down at least 13, 1400. Period.
well,
Well, I mean,
see, because Trump went to, I mean, he's an Ivy League guy. Where'd he go? He didn't go to Harvard, did he? He went to one of the Ivy Leagues. Where did he go? Um,
I thought he went to college in New York.
I went to Wharton. Um, and I mean, let's be real. The Donald comes from money. He was going to go to the college he wanted to go to, right? Take a look at most of our elected officials. They have multiple children that get into the world's most competitive colleges. Oh, I see. By competitive, you mean there's a price tag that most of us can't pay. Okay, so it is what it is. It's expensive college. It's not good college. And you know how I know that Harvard and Yale and the like are not especially good colleges? No, no thoughts, Cameron?
No, I'm just waiting on the punchline. I'm also reading Danny's comments. She's
Because
correcting
they're
us that he.
colleges.
Oh. No, but Danny's pointing out that he started out at Fordham University and transferred to Wharton as a junior.
If you want to get an education, read a book and get a job. If you want to get an ideology, that's what you go to college for. If you want to get a pedigree that you can put on a resume, that's what you go to college for. But I mean, I took art classes in college where we spent way more time talking about how cowboys wearing white hats and black hats was rooted in American racism. We spent more time talking about that than how to understand the opposing corners of a color wheel.
Yeah, and I've heard that before. Um, and that's always blown my mind. It's like, hey, wait a minute. You realize movies used to be shot in black and white, and you needed an easy visual cue to show the good guys from the bad guys. Like, you couldn't have the bad guys all wear purple because there weren't no purple.
Right. Well, and they'll tell you that other cultures use color symbolism differently, and there is some truth to that. But the black white dichotomy in mysticism, color usage is pretty damn universal. And guess what? It's the same in Africa because it's just simple. The primitive understanding of color and its use in mysticism and metaphor and symbolism is monsters eat you at night in the dark and not when the sun's up. And if you dress in all black, it's because you're planning on getting out in the dark and getting up to no good because that's where evil is done. And it is done there because it makes you invisible.
Yeah, the thief comes in the night, but joy comes in the morning. Like, this is not a new concept. Anyhow, we're short
So,
on time,
yeah,
so
if
the
you want to
book.
go, if you want to get a pedigree and an ideology, go to college. You want to get an education, get a job, read a book. I've done both. And as I'm sure you can probably all piece together from previous editions of this show, I did not pick up the prescribed ideology while I was in college. Probably because I was a cranky old fuck before I got there. So what are we actually talking about today? Um, we'll get back over to the CNN article, and I've also got the Politico article pulled up. Donald Trump's niece, Mary Trump, levels scathing criticism of the president in her forthcoming book, accusing him of being a sociopath and charging that Trump's hubris and willful ignorance dating back to his early days, threatens the country. Jesus Christ. Okay, it's a serviceable sentence, but uh, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose what precious little time we have this morning being aggravated that somebody got paid to write this garbage. Um, Donald, following the lead of my grandfather with the complicity, silence, and inaction of his siblings, destroyed my father. I can't let him destroy my country. Okay, so the argument that she's making here is if I have because silence and inaction. Okay,
Silence is violence.
silence is violence. So if I go buy a potted plant, right, and put it on a live stream so that everybody can watch it happen, and then I just don't water it for ever. When it dies, that is Putin's fault because he didn't come water the plant. He could have. He didn't, and so it's his fault. And it's everybody else's fault too. Um, that's that's called a sin of omission.
Look, the thing is, and why this is such, for me personally, this is such a big media critique. I can't help but have a whole bunch of questions right off the jump. Where was this book 4 or 5 years ago?
And yeah, we were talking about that before we went on air this morning. I think it's just simple. During the election, during the campaign, Trump was never going to win. I mean, we know that leading up to his nomination, the Clinton campaign and the DNC made specific efforts to prop Trump up for the nomination, expecting him to be a weak and easy candidate to knock down. Um,
Whoops.
yeah, whoops, that didn't work out for him. So I think they held. I think they probably held this one um, because it was too late to be effective as an October surprise. And I mean, as late as the beginning of November, hell, as late as the night of the election, nobody that had a platform to speak from really thought that Donald Trump was going to win that election. We did, or I did,
I had doubts.
but
I did. No, but what I mean is they threw everything at the wall. The Access Hollywood tape. I mean, they were willing to go to the Steele dossier and Pissgate and all of this. This book would have had a whole lot more sticking power back then before they fed us all this garbage, all this obvious garbage. Every word in this book could be true. I don't think it is, but every word in this book could be true. And there's been so many outright lies, exaggerations, deliberate twisting of the truth with regard to Donald Trump. There's no way this book doesn't have a cloud of suspicion over it. And now the media is just getting the vapors. This is the thing that's going to bring the Donald down. No, 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 no. I guarantee you what really happened here is something ugly happened internally in the family. And this is a fuck you. That's what this is. Because if this was real, Donald Trump's really a sociopath. Come on, man. Because one of the things that I think about is, okay, fine, he's supposed to have this relationship with his dad where his dad abused him, and then they destroyed the father later in life, and it broke Donald Trump's ability to love properly, and it's why he's attracted to strong, authoritative men. I mean, you could have rolled this right up in the whole Russia conspiracy and say that part of the reason why Donald Trump was willing to cut a deal with Putin is because he admires him, because kind of reminds him of Daddy a little bit. Like, I think what the media is doing wrong is their whole the vapors. But as far as the book itself, man, no, if she if you knew an outright sociopath psycho was this close to being president, and every media outlet in the world is dedicated to destroying that person, you don't take advantage of the situation? Yeah. Hey, CNN. Yep, yep, yep. It's going to be 50,000 per interview, and you're going to do a minimum of 10 interviews with me. But you don't do that. You can't turn this to your advantage and destroy Donald Trump at the same time. Nah, I don't buy it. We're what I said. We're like 119, 118 days out from the election. That's why this book is coming out now. Like it's so transparent, and the fact that the media is just falling all over themselves. Like, I swear, Brian Stelter sounded giddy.
yeah, and so okay, so
The book's in such high demand; it's coming out early.
Trump's brother, the father of the niece that's writing the book, he died in '81. Uh, basically had a heart attack. Ugh, excuse me. Basically had a heart attack, but he was young. He was in his early to mid 40s. Um, and had a heart attack, but he was a drunk. I mean, he was an alcoholic. That's one of the things that I think doesn't get talked about enough is that unlike a lot of the Democrats front runners, the Democrat favorites, like Nancy, Donald
I just
Trump
had
doesn't
a little.
drink.
I just had a little sip of communion wine. Just a little sip of of communion wine.
Yeah, and Donald Trump doesn't drink, and he is notoriously a teetotaler because his father was an alcoholic and his brother was an alcoholic, and it killed them both. Um, so I don't know the details around how the family treated Freddie before he passed away, but this is a little. I'm not going to go too far down this road. I'm not going to go too far down this road, but um, I have a cousin who's had a hard time, and I will not state it any more explicitly than that, except to say that it it has it has become difficult to help because when in the now rare event that we hear from this cousin, it's because the cousin is asking for money or a couch to crash on. Um, I don't even know where they are right now. Um, and I mean, drugs. If you let them, if you get into them and you let them get away from you, I mean, they can really. Addiction's a fucking problem, and it's such a problem that it makes it difficult, if not impossible, for the family to be there for you. Right? Because as much as you might say so and so, well, the addiction's a sickness. It's not their fault. It's disease. Yeah, that's. I get that. Okay, cool, cool. And just like other diseases, if I've got a brother or a cousin that that has terminal cancer, fast acting, terrible, something, something. What do you want me to do? I you want me to stop earning a living and feeding the rest of my family, or earning a living that could be used to help with your disease? Um, but in the case of something like a terminal cancer, you're not you don't have the people actively pushing the family away, actively and simultaneously abusing the family's goodwill, um, and demanding that they be afforded their independence from the expectations of the use of that goodwill. If I'm funneling money into an addict and I find out I'm not making this accusation of Fred because I don't know enough here, but I do know enough about people with addictions to make some assumptions. Um, if I'm funneling money into an addict to try and help them get treatment, get right. Oh, and it turns out, it's one of the reasons I don't give money to bums. I'm funneling money into them and they're just going and spending that money on the addiction. What can I do? What am I supposed to do with that? Um,
We have to do a
sounds
short
like
show, buddy.
yeah. I know. It sounds like Mary's pissed off because the Teflon Don didn't chain his brother up and make him dry out.
That could be part of it, honestly. And there's some other things like there's a will somewhere, and one day, and Donnie Two Scoops will die, and a whole lot of people in that family are gonna get stupid rich when he does. I wonder what her share of that will is.
You mean you wonder what her share of that will was?
Something like that. Yeah. So I mean, this is ugly family stuff, and like a lot of the things with Donald Trump, I suspect there is at least some truth to some of this. But of course, we're going to take the most negative possible interpretation and run with it. And again, if this was really, really, really going to be the thing, I think it would have come out years ago. Because now we've had the stuff with, I mean, Stormy Daniels, and let me be clear, I still think he actually had sex with Stormy Daniels. But we've had that. We've had that. We've had the Ukraine thing. We've had the
even though,
Russia thing.
even though, even though Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels both swear now that they never had sex.
But we've had all this stuff come out. I mean, even going back to the very beginning, where it's like Donald Trump said Mexicans are rapists, and you go and you listen to the whole quote, and it's like, oh, that's not even close to what he
So,
said.
oh, I listened to that quote, and what did he say? How did he say? Oh, he said, "You're a fucking liar."
And then I mean, just pick whatever moment in time. The like this like when the Charlotte thing happened, and he said there are good people on both sides. He very clearly meant people on both sides of the debate as to whether or not you take down Confederate monuments. If you listen to the whole thing, he clearly and obviously condemns white supremacy. So just all this stuff over and over and over again. Man, this book is just it's going to be a swing and a miss. And all the stuff about it's in such high demand. I didn't even know this book was being written until I heard the audio from Brian Stelter creaming his shorts over it. Like, but anyhow, man, we're up against it. I
Yeah, we're
have
up
to do
against the
that thing
clock.
for
You got to
work.
go. Yeah, this book reminds me that we need to revisit the conversation about the new Vatican, and we just don't have time to do that this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it right there. We may be able to pull a show off tomorrow and or Friday. If we can do it tomorrow, we can do it Friday. But
We're
yeah,
gonna attempt it.
we're about to start loading trucks and going to shoot a movie, guys. So if we don't see you again this week, we'll see you back Monday morning. Y'all be safe out there. Don't fry bacon naked.